Let's just start with the most basic question. Why are these windows deferred maintenance in these schools?
Well, there's a couple of reasons. One would be, of course, budget restrictions, not having the funding available to go and fix them. Limited staff, a lot of school districts that I go in, their custodial staff is at full capacity, just trying to keep the buildings and grounds clean.
Mhm.
And maintenance is just one of those things that oftentimes is more of a reactionary than a preventive type thing just because of the lack of staff. So there's a couple of different reasons why windows can be put on the back burner. And a lot of time they have higher priorities. They have to have a roof replaced, if that's leaking, or just so many different things that can come up that make that the window operations and that energy savings is just put on the back burner and not a priority.
Yeah, definitely. Come wintertime, you never know what the winter's going to actually be when you do this budget. And I'm sure that, you can have a mild winter like you guys have had in the past couple of years. It's been somewhat more mild. Now this year you're getting hammered
Right.
with snow, and now they're going to have to deal with snow removal and issues like that. What are some of these issues that kind of sneak up? What are some examples of these that you see or that the facilities guys mentioned?
Right. So, what I've seen a lot walking through schools and just things that I've noticed and things that our crew will notice, you can walk up to a window and you'll feel that there's a lot of air infiltration coming through. Oftentimes, it's a very simple thing. The upper sash, if it's a double hung window, the upper sash may not be properly shut. It may not be closed all the way because the balances for the upper sash are failing.
Mhm.
And so they tend to drop down just a little bit, and you've got air coming in from the small gap at the top. Something like that's so easily taken care of. You can either put balances in it to make it operational where it closes where it's supposed to, or you can put in an L bracket, which is what we do on a lot of them, where you're securing it in place, keeping the window, the sash where it's supposed to be, and eliminating any kind of air or water infiltration as well. So that's definitely probably a very common thing that we see when we walk through the schools. Another thing are broken or failed seals on the insulated units. You'll see like fall glass. You'll see that there will be, condensation buildup in between that. And so you know that the insulated unit at that point has failed. It's not where it should be, so it's causing energy deficiencies. And then also hardware, very simple, just the hardware is failing. The locks may not be working or maybe missing or broken. Balances that are failing cause the sashes not to open or close properly. So, a lot of it's, they're just not even aligned properly. So you get more air infiltration with that.
Going on the hardware issue, this is kind of why we created that system, the Turbo 2 system, way back in '89. And it's a basic idea that you need to square the window, because if the window is cut to the side, you're going to have these leaks, and then it's
Right.
going to not function right, and then you're going to have safety issues. This can break the balance and then drop on somebody's hand.
I do remember the story of a teacher, the tip of her finger that was taken off by a falling sash, a very heavy one, and I can only imagine the fallout from that afterwards. Pretty traumatic.
Mhm.
So simple things like that. But I mean, hidden costs can really start to add up when you have a window that's just not quite right, whether it's not lined properly. And I see in the repairs that I've seen other contractors do, it's not just the balance thing. There's this whole other system that needs to be installed when you're retrofitting the sashes. There needs to be guides that are installed on side loads. There needs to be stops installed. All of these really make the difference in making that window more energy efficient, eliminating any kind of air infiltration. We've done many independent testing and shown the difference in the air infiltration once that Turbo 2 kit has been installed, what a difference it can make. So,
Yeah, there was that. It's a school in Pittsburgh. We did the air infiltration test, and it was before and after the system was put in, and it was like 75%.
think about how those energy costs stack up over time. I mean, on average, schools with widespread issues can see an increase in their energy bill of about 10 to 20%. I mean, and over time, you think about that over the years when those issues are just set aside and put to the back burner, how much those costs will really add up.
Yeah, because we're talking about broken seals, broken balances, whatever on the window. This actually affects the energy budget There was that other school we did in Connecticut. It was by the creek or something, remember?
Yeah, so they had a lot more wind and they were experiencing water and air infiltration
Mhm.
on their windows.
Yeah, so that guy was very happy. HVAC was running all the time.
Right.
It was just literally leaking out the windows.
Yeah, he stated this is one that really showed the difference in the decrease in energy usage, 40% decrease
Yeah.
that once the window retrofit repairs had been completed. So that's huge for a school.
Yeah, when you look at the cost of how much does one window cost to fix, and then you budget, the guy's got a budget for X amount of windows. If you don't do that, then what is the other cost that's unseen?
Right.
You know, whether it's a safety issue, lawsuit liability, and then you have just the energy stuff.
Right.
It's interesting when you get into these bigger budgets to see what you can and can't do.
With allocating budget money for the repairs, we get that to do a whole school can be expensive. To go through and repair every single window can be expensive, but part of it should be on your maintenance plan. As a facility director, you want to do preventative maintenance as much as possible, and you can chip away at it every year. If you can only put 10,000 towards that, you think about that over the span of 5 years, you'll have made a dent into each school that you're trying to get operational windows done on, and that over time is going to show quite a bit of savings in your energy cost as well. So, again, you may not be able to get all 200 windows in a school repaired at once, but doing 50 here or there, I think, can make a big difference. And just making sure you're allocating as much as you can towards that preventative maintenance.
Really, these windows should last very, very long time, 25, 30 years without any significant maintenance. And it's crazy when you hear new window bids going out for a school that we did 5 years ago. It's either they're just trying to keep the budget high enough to keep the money flowing. I mean, it could be multi-million dollars to replace all the windows in the school, when you could actually fix these windows, which we've done for decades, and almost never seeing any issues with these windows. They
Right.
function better than they did in the beginning. They last way longer.
Right. Absolutely. And the kit, the retrofit kit that we use with the Turbo 2, it really does. It makes the function of the window much easier, makes it last much longer. It keeps the sash aligned, so it eliminates a lot of that air infiltration. It prevents a lot of the energy like usage, the leakage that can happen as well with the heat and whatnot. So it does make a big difference. And oftentimes I'll walk into a school, if you've got a double hung insulated unit in there. If you were to go get new windows, you're going to basically get the same product. Yeah, there are some upgrades that can be done with the glass, like getting a low E-rated glass, change out glass thickness, things like that. But unfortunately, even with these capital improvement projects, budgets are limited as well. And they're usually going with the cheapest product that they can do. And it may not even be as good as what's in there. So upgrading what you have can oftentimes save a ton of money and prevent having to spend millions on something that's not necessarily needed. Now, there are some schools that do need new ones. If I walk into the school and I see there's a single pane window and it's one sheet of glass, like they need new windows. That's something that we're always going to tell you. Our recommendation is, even though we don't do new windows, obviously for the most energy efficient savings, you need a new window. So
Yes, I remember that school in Charlotte up there in Rochester.
right.
And they have, the front of the building is beautiful. And it has like probably 1930s windows, steel windows, but they have single pane.
Yes.
I mean, you want to keep the aesthetic, because
Right.
it's a very beautiful building. But yeah, and then they added on, and then they have like normal Traco windows that we upgraded. Yeah, there's a time and a place for new windows. What can facilities guys do, or what can we do to work with them to do preventative maintenance?
Right. Well, one thing, we strongly recommend is just doing like an annual inspection. If you have the custodial staff that's able to go through and take notes for the locations of the windows, notate anything that may be not operational or not working quite right, And just making notes of that so that you know what your problem areas are. That's huge. Sometimes it can be something as simple as just lubricating a sash to get it to, operate the way that it should. But just getting that annual, inspection done, it helps you to catch any early issues that they may be experiencing before it becomes a full blown out problem that you have to, throw a lot of money at. That's definitely the number one thing. If you don't have the staff to do that, which I know a lot of districts, they're stretched pretty thin, that is a service that we offer as well, that we can come in and do an inspection where we have our estimator go around and operate each stash and notate any issues that he sees, any problems that he sees while he's walking through there.
If I was facilities manager, you'd have like spreadsheets for all this stuff. Some guys do, some guys have high level programs, but you could have a spreadsheet for HVAC, for lights, for things were LED. You had to change light bulbs out.
Right.
Same thing with windows. Check your windows because it's a fire hazard. It's a safety hazard for kids or teachers. And you're just trying to get a nice little package put together that it's easy to do and it's easy to understand.
A lot of times, too, something I recommend for facility directors when they don't have the staff to go through each one, have the building principal, send an email out to all the staff and teachers asking them if they have problems. Most of the time you'll get a response back from the teachers who will tell you, yes, my rescue window isn't working, I can't open it, whatever the case may be. And a lot of times you'll be able to uncover that there are much more problems than you were aware of to begin with as well. So
that's a really good point, because there's people that have a little bit more details about their own classroom. I also understand that it can probably open up a can of worms with more complaints about whatever, but
maybe some directors who aren't anxious to get that input. I don't.
Yes, definitely.